I'm wondering if it's surreal for you. You just spent the entire week in this building just down the hall hosting an excellent episode of Saturday Night Live. Is it weird? Because most people who host don't then come back to the building on Monday.
Yeah, I know. I spent like 4 days straight in this building without seeing fresh air or breathing fresh air.
Yeah.
And I'm straight back here. I had a great week, though.
It was fantastic. You did say you feel like you made a mistake that you wouldn't make again when you met the writing staff.
Yeah, this is something... Anyone who's going to host SNL, don't do what I did, which is go... When they ask you, what kind of things do you want to do? Do you have any talents? Do you have any things you want to show off? And I thought I have 0 talents. So I said, right, I'll do anything you want me to do.
Yeah, don't do that.
Any skit that you have... Anything that you've been holding back that you think's too controversial, I'll do it. And they really took me at my word.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all have like 5 of those. Yeah. They're just waiting for someone to come in who's as innocent as you that will make the mistake of saying that.
Yeah.
You got to play Winston Churchill in a sketch, and is that the reason you're clean shaven?
Yeah, they clean shaved me. There were various reasons I was clean shaven. I had to play Michael Jackson and Winston Churchill.
Yeah.
It's a sentence I'll
famously
never say
unbearded
again.
men, yeah.
Yeah, famously hairless men. So they shaved me, and it's the first time I've had a reason to shave in a long time, and I did it, and I feel like I look like a kind of tired child.
You also this whole city block basically was your week, because then the premiere of Game of Thrones was, I guess, last Wednesday, right at Radio City as well. So you basically had your whole life in right here.
Oh, it was bizarre. I was doing on the Wednesday, they do a read-through of SNL, and it goes on for a while, and they were very good to let me out, because it's a busy week, to let me out to go to the premiere of Game of Thrones. But during the read-through, I could hear, because it was at Radio City, I could hear the cheers for my castmates arriving. And as they went on, I was sat next to Lorne, and I was kind of looking at him going, I think I have to leave.
Yeah.
I really do. I mean, the cheers are getting bigger. The cheers are now stopping. I think I should probably get over them.
You're like, I could go to the Game of Thrones premiere or sit next to Lauren while he's eating edamame? I'm going to guess that was
It was.
Yeah, he was, right, yeah.
It was! How did you know? It was.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
That's what they're actually, when Game of Thrones is over, they're replacing it. The new show is just going to be Lauren at a table eating edamame. I don't know. They think it'll go 7 seasons.
Yeah.
You also, I will say, not your first sketch show, sketch work in the building. You did Jon Snow at a dinner party with us a few years ago. And still one of my favorite things you've done on the show. So thank you so much.
Yeah.
We obviously we took advantage of the fact that you play Jon Snow. You're married to Rose Leslie, one of your co-stars on the show, and who's fantastic. And she was here last year and said you pulled a very cruel, and the audience agreed with her that it was a very cruel April Fool's Day joke, which is she opened the refrigerator and you had that there.
Yeah.
So did you back off April Fool's, or did you do something? Do you do no pranks a year after that, or do you try something else?
See, I started strong.
Yeah.
The amount of props at my disposal has diminished.
Of course, sure.
This year was... I did pull a April Fool's on her while we were out here, and it was the most... I'm aware this is the most first world April Fool's before I tell this story, but she... I didn't know what to do. She has a favourite almond milk. She won't drink any other almond milk. So I just wrote an article about how this company that makes her favourite almond milk was going under because of Brexit. Now, this backfired because she immediately rang my PA and got her to bulk order this almond milk with my credit card. So I ended up spending 150 quid on almond milk.
It turns out the only thing more terrifying than seeing your severed head in a refrigerator is just cartons upon cartons of almond milk. You're like, oh, no!
Yeah, exactly.
I've heard you talk about, in the many scenes you have to do in Game of Thrones, obviously things as an actor you probably never would have expected before seeing what that show is going to be. You were also dead on a table, and naked dead on a table, surrounded by... Now, come on. Oh, hold on. You're cheering a dead, naked body. Necrophiliac monsters. Was that embarrassing? that moment?
I loved those. I loved that couple of days. You know, I got to. They warmed the room. I was on a table asleep essentially for 2 full days.
I guess compared to some of the other things they ask you to do, that's not that bad. Yeah.
I mean, I literally fell asleep in those scenes. Yeah. No, that was some of my best work.
I will say, I was like, he's really dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really, man, he is so good at dead.
The way they kept coming up to me and going, "You do," like hadn't had a compliment from some of the crew at all about my work, but they were like, "You do a really good dead body." So there's a future in CSI for me.
There you go. Yeah. Have you, when you were reading the scripts for the final season, were you trying to do it in real time? Were you skipping ahead to the end to see how everything came to a conclusion?
I mean, there was a big temptation to skip ahead when they sent us those final, because no one wants to know what happens more than we do.
Sure.
But I didn't. I stopped myself. They came so late. They were like 3 days before the read-through because they didn't want any leaks. And I stopped myself, because I thought, what's better than hearing it? We had this big read-through and hearing it with all the rest of the cast actually reading as their characters. So I became like a litmus test for the season. They put a camera on me to see my reactions as the events unfolded. And David and Dan, all the producers, are looking at me, and they got some pretty good reactions. I think there'll be a documentary at some point where you'll.
Was it different?
Going like that.
Yeah. Were there actual like palpable moments of this cast and crew at that last table read? Like, I mean, not to give anything away, but I'm assuming there's moments where you're like,
of course. It's going to be a terrible last season. I'd just been like deadpan, like nothing happened.
Yeah. It all works out.
Yeah.
Everybody moves into a condo together. Yeah.
I can say that. There are definite big moments.
That's good. I'm very happy. Always a big moment to have you here. Thank you so much, Kit, and great job again on Saturday.